care that Donald Trump might put somebody or is threatening to put somebody in jail because of doing her job. And
this thing to pursue when his whole state's on fire and being looted.
Have you seen what Donald Trump tweeted out? Wait, have you seen that?
Campaign rhetoric.
No, I'm just wondering, do you think that
Liz Cheney kept saying Trump was a Nazi?
Do you think she would have lost support?
Is he a Nazi?
Do you think that she would have lost
have a conversation as if the Biden administration did not engage in the very sort of weaponization that Donald Trump, his campaign, it's not the same.
We're not going to, I don't want to.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this panel. Abby Phillip on CNN. These MAGA pundits just keep embarrassing themselves. Check this out.
Will Donald Trump interfere with the Justice Department? It was a big fear of Democrats today as they grilled his pick for Attorney General. Pam Bondi insists that it just won't be an issue when it comes to the first felon ever to serve as president. But will her promises age well? Here is Bondi when she was asked if she would hire someone who had an enemies list for retribution.
Yes, would you have hired someone into the Florida Attorney General's office who you knew had an enemies list?
Senator, to cut to the chase, you're clearly talking about Kash Patel. I don't believe he has an enemies list.
Kash Patel is Trump's pick to lead the FBI, and the problem is he does have an enemies list. It's one that he published in his book. I got it right here. It names a lot of high-profile people, Democrats, law enforcement officials, and others. But more generally speaking, Bondi denies that there would be any retribution or enemies list in a Trump administration at all, except that is also not what Trump has promised.
I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. For those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution.
We have some sick people, radical left lunatics, and I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin.
There will never be an enemies list within the Department of Justice.
Guys, before we get to that, conservatives out there, look up historical figures that use that term vermin when describing their political opposition. You'll start to see maybe a little glimpse of start to see why he's called a fascist. He called Biden the most corrupt presidency. This guy wouldn't accept the loss and tried to stay by inciting an insurrection. Do you guys forget his vice president? Hang Mike Pence. Hang Mike. Do you guys forget that it even happened? Un-effing believable.
What I don't understand is Donald Trump won. He has the votes to confirm Pam Bondi. Why misdirect on something as plain as day as this? Just be honest. Just tell the American people I ran on retribution. I'm going to carry it out in the Justice Department.
Well, you can't say that. You no.
Did you hear the clip we just played?
You cannot say that. If you're sitting there trying to get confirmed, you can't say that. And if you heard what Pam Bondi said herself, she said that there will not be an enemies list. They're trying to refer to Kash Patel. There's no need to refer to her. I thought that Pam Bondi comported herself very well. She gave it as good as they gave it to her. I think there was a much different situation because I left yesterday with Pete Hegseth's hearing. I felt very differently about Pete Hegseth as opposed to Pam Bondi because she was strong. Even though she gave that bit of back and forth, she had a command of the facts in a way that I was not comfortable with when it came to Pete Hegseth.
Does anybody here think that if she had said, Donald Trump, it will be the president of the United States, he ran on this, I will carry out his orders, and any Republican would have said, that's too much for me.
Campaign rhetoric.
No, I'm just wondering, do you think that
Liz
she
Cheney
would have
kept
lost?
saying Trump was
do you think
a
she would have
Nazi?
lost support?
Is he a Nazi?
Do you think that she would have lost support if she had said what Trump said?
No, look, campaign rhetoric is irrelevant now during these hearings because both sides did crazy stuff. Do you remember Nazi hunting with Hillary Clinton and Liz Cheney? They actually went to New York to hunt Nazis down at the campaign headquarters. It was nuts.
What are you
I was here when that happened.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
so. Listen, Cheney was referenced also today being asked by, Chef, would you put her in jail as Trump has ordered? And basically, who cares when Cheney's going to jail, or if she should go to jail when he's from California? His whole state's burning down. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
You don't care that Donald Trump might put somebody or is threatening to put somebody in jail because of doing her job and on the January 6th committee?
Schiff used his time to say that Liz Cheney should go to jail.
And you don't think that's a legitimate question?
When his whole state's burning down and people have no homes? This guy can't read the room. This guy
Okay, and the Attorney General is going to do what about the burning in California?
Look, the point is, he did not read the room. What a heartless thing to pursue when his whole state's on fire and being looted.
Have you seen what Donald Trump tweeted out? Wait, have you seen what Donald Trump tweeted out today?
Yes.
He put out a tweet with his enemies list where he basically said, hey, to all of you who are recommending staffers to my administration, do not even try to recommend anybody who has worked for Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney or Mike Pence.
No, but it's worse than that.
Okay, so he's not just weeding out the leftist thugs.
Well, with political appointees, you get to appoint the people who are
yes, but they don't get to do whatever.
Before he gets in there, let me recap a little bit what O'Leary said. This guy has went MAGA brain. He's either completely lost his mind, or what is more likely is that he's cozying up next to Trump. Like MAGA conservatives out there, do you not see this as a problem? How Elon Musk is cozying up to him. Vivek, Peter Thiel, O'Leary, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all these billionaires are coming out of the woodwork to cozy up to Trump and be a complete MAGA nut. You don't see as a clear agenda here. You can't see the oligarchy that's forming. Like, and this whole Liz Cheney thing, during the campaign, Trump said that she should be put in front of a military tribunal. He can't understand, O'Leary can't understand why he's referred to as a fascist, I'll say here on this channel. I'm not sure if I could even use that word. He calls it a political opposition vermin. And if needed, we'll use military force. Come on, like, guys, this is not like, and O'Leary is just trying to make money. I think we're at a crossroads here. And hopefully Republicans are starting to see that they're just being played. You're just being tricked. Or you're being lied to. And this fear mongering from the right is all meant to scare the crap out of you so that people like O'Leary can screw you over and over and over again.
They want with those jobs, and there's a lot of noise, and then there's what's really going to happen. And all we can do is look at what they did in the last time that the Trump had control of the Justice Department. And if you watch what he pushed his officials to do, whether you think it was illegal or not, it was certainly unethical, it was certainly unprecedented, and it was certainly vindictive, and it was certainly political. And there are 100 examples of that. And there's no reason to think he's not going to. Well, let's go down the list. Using the Justice Department to try to affect the outcome of the election, purging officials, investigating the FBI investigators. There's a litany of.
Jeff Sessions, because he wouldn't investigate. What was it? I forget exactly what it was. He wouldn't do something. He wouldn't open an investigation on something, and he removed Jeff Sessions or forced him to resign. Like. And this fight back by Ana Navarro, that's the kind of motivating, that's the kind of pushback we need. She stopped Abby and was like, no, let's get to the bottom of this. This is what you need to do. And CNN will be fine with that because this gets some views. This gets some clicks. Let the pushback happen when some outrageous nonsense is being said. And this is the type of thing that, again, will help motivate the left. We need fighters. We need people to push back. We're not going up against Mitt Romney here.
That's something different.
But this is the thing that I think that is critical, though, on this point, though, is that he did do this with Bill Barr, where he tried to get him to be a part of overturning the election, and Bill Barr wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
And today, when Pam Bondi was asked, she acted like that didn't happen, that it was a hypothetical that she wouldn't answer. And I find that problematic. I do think Pam Bondi did pretty well in the confirmation hearing today, but there were some critical issues that were brought up on the campaign trail that she wasn't able to answer. And earlier on this network, Chris Coons was saying, he also said her first two questions that he asked her, she did well, but it was that question about the overreach of the office. There is a firewall between the White House and the Department of Justice, and that has existed
but
up
actually,
until
it's
the
not
Trump
that she
administration.
wasn't able to answer them. Look, I know
She lied.
I know Pam Bondi quite well from Florida.
Are you a
Pam,
fan?
I've been her friend. I haven't seen her in many
But it's
years.
over between you now?
Well, it's over
like a
between me and a lot of people who are Trumpers. But and by the way, I don't want to ruin her reputation with the people who might have to vote for her. I think what you
He always brings it to personal. He's odd when he has these pushbacks. Are you guys still friends? What the F is wrong with you?
saw today is a very prepared Pam Bondi who chose not to answer and chose to pivot. I also think you saw a Pam Bondi who knows that she's got the votes.
Yeah.
So you can be glib, you can be combative, you can be defensive, because you don't have to be sucking up to the Democrats, because you
I know,
don't
but
need
that
a
makes
single
me
one of those
uncomfortable.
votes.
But the test is when she's in the job, and we all know Trump
Yeah.
administration officials who've been asked to do things unethical or even illegal. Many of them said yes, many of them said no. I know some who said yes, I know some who said no. The ones who said no, some bad things happened to them in that administration, but they stood up for what's right. Is Pam Bondi the former or the latter? We don't know, because she hasn't actually put in
Shouldn't
that
we
position
be at
yet.
this point optimistic for Trump 2.0? Let's give them all a chance.
Based on what he said.
Because we want to.
I just think it's rude for us to have a conversation as if the Biden administration did not engage in the very sort of weaponization that Donald Trump
not the
is
same.
campaigning.
All right.
It's not the same.
We're not
It's
going
not
to.
the same.
I don't want to relitigate that, but I will
completely-
say this.
It's apples and bowling balls.
One of
It's
the
literally
reasons
not.
that Pam Bondi got a lot of questions about Kash Patel is also, and you might like this, Kevin, she has the qualifications for the job that she's been nominated for.
I agree. I
she
thought it was the
absolutely-
Kash Patel hearing.
Well, so she has the qualifications, and I think that is really the main reason why her path to confirmation is going to be fairly unproblematic, despite all of her history of election denialism, et cetera. She's likely to be confirmed, and confirmed easily. Everyone, hang tight. Coming up next.
Guys, we're gonna leave it there. I just want to say one thing. To be optimistic about Trump, what is he talking about? Do you not understand what this guy was saying? Think about the insane things that he was saying in this campaign. Calling jobs that when immigrants come over the border. Understand what he's saying about this, Trump. Immigrants that come over the border, more than 9 out of 10 times, they don't know English. He called those black jobs. And what he said about immigrants, we need one brutal, violent day to get rid of them, and then they'll learn. This is just a couple of the things he said. The flood of nastiness this man is saying. Military tribunals, doesn't care if you have to shoot through reporters to get to him. Again, these billionaires, especially extremely rich people like him, like O'Leary, white man has nothing to worry about. Whether Kamala had one or Trump, like how Trump has one now. This is truly unbelievable. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Please subscribe if you're not. Leave a comment. I read just about all of them. And I'll catch you in the next one.